Welcome. Happy Aloha Friday. My name's Arielle, as you know, and in our practice today, we're going to focus on the neck and shoulders, which really means we have to do a little bit of everything. The whole back chain, if you think about your hamstrings, your calves, and the whole spine, we'll do some twists, and that should unlock some things in the neck and shoulders. I don't have any music for you today, but hopefully you can hear the roosters and the waterfall and the other bird sounds as I'm practicing in the backyard. I have some live students over here, my mom-in-law, and my friend Sherry. So if you hear me talking off camera, don't be alarmed. But we are going to start lying on our back. So you can go ahead and lie down on your spine. And I invite you to take your feet to the floor and your knees can be bent and just rest your knees in on one another. From there, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Close your eyes. And just take a few deep breaths to check in. As you breathe in, witness your belly expanding beneath your palm and that slight dropping in. Notice the subtle beating of your heart. And witness how the two are connected. As you slow down your breathing, you might notice your heart rate slowing down as well. Slowing down enough to arrive in this present moment. Meeting yourself here on your mat on this beautiful Friday. Notice how your body feels today. Notice any recurring thoughts floating in your brain. Recognize any feelings, anything the emotional body is trying to say to you. Accepting yourself for who you are in this moment. Only then can we grow and transform and make a change. And perhaps there is a shift you know you need. You can call it in as an intention. Anything you want to cultivate more of in your life. Call it into mind. Breathe it in deep down. Carry it with you wherever you go today, whatever comes your way. Embrace it with this intention. Take 3 more good breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Again, sipping in that sweet oxygen a little bit deeper. Exhaling, let it go. Now, the deepest breath you've had all morning long, take it in, even when you feel like you're full of breath. Invite one last little sip and let it go. On your next breath in, stretch long through your arms, through your legs, reach your toes down below, extending through your fingertips from edge to edge. Stretching long, breathe in. Now exhale as you hug your knees in. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself some love. At the start of our practice today, we're going to move through this dynamic movement. I call it the spine reset, but it's a great way to warm up the body and prepare for our practice today. So this is actually one of the postures. This we'll call posture A. Now, on your next breath in, kick your heels up towards the sky and lift your arms up over your head like you're riding a roller coaster. Arms overhead, the back of your hands are going to touch the floor above you. And as you extend your legs up to the ceiling, you can press out through your heels, flex your ankles, spread through your toes. Take a deep breath in, your B. And then like you're preparing for bridge pose, similar to how we started, bend your knees, take your feet to the floor and bring your arms to the ground by your side. So the feet are on the ground near your fingertips. Posture C. From here, we'll lift the hips, come into that bridge shape. Inhale as you lift your hips off the ground, lift, 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 and keep your chin off your chest. Posture D. That's it. Lower your seat back down to the ground. And then we'll reverse it. Lift your heels up towards the ceiling and arms up overhead, coming into that pike shape like a big L. And then curl in as you hug your hands around your shins. Lift your head up off the floor. Curl in, squeeze your knees into your chest. And then reversing that, arms overhead, feet up to the sky. Kick your heels up, ride that roller coaster. And then slowly bring your feet to the ground and arms by your sides. Slow, 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 like a count of 4 or 5. From here, lift your hips off the ground, bridge shape, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. And then exhale slowly, bring your hips back down. Inhale, extend your arms overhead, your feet to the sky. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest, lift your head off the earth, take your nose towards your knees, curling in, this Apanasana shape. And then unwind. Inhale, arms overhead, feet to the sky, pike. Exhale, feet to the ground, arms by your side. Grounding into your heels, lift your hips off the floor, breathe into bridge. Breathe out, lower your hips back down. A few more rounds. Inhale, heels up, hands up, extend long. Exhale, knees to chest, lift your head off the earth, curl into a little ball. Breathing in, extend arms overhead, heels to the sky, pike. Exhale, feet to the ground, arms by your sides. Take it slow as you lift your hips off the mat, lengthen your tailbone all the way up through the back of your calves to the back of your knees. And then go slow as you lower your hips back to the mat. Awesome. Lift your heels up, arms up, breathe in. Exhale, hug knees to chest, wrap your arms around your shins, lift your head off the earth, curl in. Breathe in, arms overhead, heels to the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Last time, lift your hips off the mat on your breath in. Lower your hips down to the ground. Finish this round, heels up, hands up, ride that roller coaster, kick your heels high, and then hug your knees to your chest, lift your head off the mat, curl into yourself. One more pike, lift your heels, lift your hands overhead. Exhale, feet to the floor, arms by your sides. Take that bridge pose one more time. Inhale, lift your hips. And then exhale to release your hips back down. Very nice. Now hold on to the back of your thighs and see if you can rock yourself forward and back and balance in boat pose. So it might take a few rocks, but when you get to your sitting bone, see if you can pause there. You can bring your big toes together. Nice. Broaden through your collarbones and perhaps free up your palms. Awesome. Lifting through your chin. And feel your navel draw in. That core and the abdomen is going to help us create a strong and safe spine. Breathe here for 3, 2, one. Beautiful, awesome. Crisscross your shins and come forward onto your hands and knees. Make your way into a tabletop. Take your time to get there. If you have any knee injuries, you can swing your heels off to one side. But whenever you get to your tabletop, look for that stack of your bones, wrists beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips, and then come into cow pose. Inhale as you lift your chin, sway your chest towards the earth. Breathe out as you round your spine into cat. Awesome. We'll take 4 more cycles. Feel free to close your eyes, breathe in, lift your chin, broaden your chest. Exhale, push down through the ground, chin to chest. Feel free to add any variations. Inhaling, moving through cow. Perhaps adding a spiral with your head or your ribs or your hips on your way into cat. Broadening through your sitting bones, lift through your tail, breathe in. Exhale, round. Awesome. 1 more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Beautiful. Now create a neutral spine with your shoulders back. Hug your lower ribs in. Now walk your hands forward about 1 finger's distance and set up for downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the floor, and lengthen through your legs. We'll take a few breaths here. You can pedal out your heels. Listen to your hamstrings sing along with the birds here in Hawaii. Start to settle into stillness with your heels hips width apart. Feel free to bend your knees softly if that helps you lift through your tail. Hug your lower ribs in. And imagine your armpits can suck up into your shoulder joints, grounding into your fingertips. Take another breath. Press your hips back. Awesome. Now stretch your right leg up into the sky for 3-legged dog. And open up your hips. Find some exploration here. You could do some hip circles, bending that right knee, opening up the hips, and then curling it back in. Or maybe stillness feels nice. On your next breath in, stretch your right leg nice and straight. Breathe in. And then exhale, draw your right knee in towards your nose. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Prancing dog. Inhale, kick back through your right leg, 3-legged dog. Do that again. Exhale, knee to the nose, navel to the spine. Shoulders shift forward. 1 more time. Inhale, launch your right leg high. And then exhale, step forward with your right foot this time. Go ahead and soften your back knee down onto the ground. And then untuck your back toes so the top of your left foot is on the floor. Awesome. Look down at your right foot. See your right toes spread wide. Ground through that right heel. Try to pull the floor back with your heel. And then take your left hand to the nape of your neck. Give yourself a little massage. Keep your chin drawn in. Actually, switch that up. Take your right hand to the back of your neck so you can balance on your left hand. And then see if you can draw your chin in towards your chest. Massage the back of your neck all the way up to where your skull meets your spine, that occipital ridge. Check in and see what's going on there. Meanwhile, if you want a little more stretch in your left hip, you're welcome to hover your left knee off the floor, but keep the top of your foot on the ground, so the toenail side, and let that left hip just sink farther down. Drawing the chin in for 3, 2, 1. Good. If your back knee's lifted, lower it, and then walk your hands up onto your right thigh so you can lift your chest, lift your gaze, loop your shoulders back. Nice. And a little reset with the hips. Move your hips back for a sec. Dip your tailbone down, lift your front hip bones up, and then we'll rebend into that front knee with nice neutral hips. From here, extend your arms wide overhead. Catch your balance, ground into that right big toe. And then add a tricep stretch with your left hand, coming to your upper back, your upper shoulders. Catch that left elbow with your right hand and try to weave your left fingertips down your spine. Press your head into your upper arm bone. Continue to ground into that right big toe. Imagine you could pull the floor back with that front foot. And then if you're balancing all right, start to lean your upper half to the right. Now, if you really want to test your balance, you can start to hover the left knee off the floor again. Yeah, pressing into the top of the left foot and just feeling that anchor from the back foot to the lifted elbow and stretching everything in between for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Lower the back knee, reach your arms overhead, lengthen through your spine. And then exhale as you release your hands to the floor. Come into a half split. Shift your hips back, lengthen through your front leg. Awesome. Flex your ankle so your toes come back up towards your nose, and then press forward with the ball mound of your foot. Take a deep breath in from your tail to your crown, and then go slow as you fold forward and down. Notice what your head and neck is doing. Remember, it's all connected. So can you draw your shoulder blades together slightly on the back rather than rounding? And then keep the chin drawn in with humility so the back of your neck feels nice and long. From there, the heart leads the way. Holding in for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now all we're going to do is add an external rotation of that right thigh. So turn your toes open, the right toes open to the right. And you should feel a little singing in the outer right thigh, the IT area. Protect your knee by engaging your right quadricep, and then add that little micro bend. Feel your foot ground into the mat and try to pull the floor back. But it's really your right hip crease that's pulling back. The pelvis is twisting slightly. And maybe your left cheek gets closer to your right shin. Check in with your neck and shoulders again. That place is mysterious because we can't see it. But what do you feel? Take 2 more. Last one. Now maintain the external rotation of your right leg so the toes still turn open, but walk your hands to the inside of your right leg. And start to walk your hands forward for lizard pose or runner's lunge. So once you walk your hands forward, bend your right knee, and then you have your hands stacked beneath your shoulders or maybe your elbows. You can take it down onto the block or to the ground, maybe even a pillow. If it feels good to weave your hips side to side, just make sure your right toes and your right knee are looking in the same direction. You can let your head hang. Breathe into the low back, the front of that left hip. And if you're inspired to add a quad stretch, shift the weight onto your left elbow or hand, and then begin to reach back with your right arm. Bend your left knee, grab for your foot. If the foot's hard to reach, just come back to the previous shape. Otherwise, kick your foot into your hand first, open up your chest, and then keeping your heart open, pull your heel in toward your outer left seat. Or move your seat back to meet your heel, and then shift your hips forward again. Breathe. Keep that slight back bend as you lift your heart and lift your chin. Lengthening through your tail to accentuate the stretch in your left quadricep. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Go ahead and release your foot if it's in your hands. Come back onto your palms. Tuck your back toes under and launch the right thigh to 3-legged dog. Keep that right knee bent, open up through your hips. Just see how it feels different. Take one knee circle or hip circle. Good. And then enjoy lowering your right leg to the ground. Shift all your weight into it, kind of sink into that hip and switch. Lift your left leg off the floor. Bend the left knee, open up your hips. Add the knee circles on the left side for 3, 2, 1. On your next breath in, stretch your left leg nice and long. And then exhale, knee to the nose, shoulders over wrists, hug the navel in. Do that again. Inhale, lift your left leg nice and high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, coil in, knee to nose. One more time. Inhale, kick it high. Exhale, big step through. Soften your back, knee to the ground. We're going to keep our hands down for now. Untuck your right toes so the top of your right foot's on the floor. And you could use that right hand to hold your weight as your left hand comes back to the neck to give yourself a massage. And work your way up to the occipital ridge. Now, if you like, press into the top of your right foot and hover your right knee off the mat, but keep that right hip heavy, sinking towards the earth. As the chin draws in, you create even more length in the back body. You might even notice your lower back tingling. You'll feel it wherever you need it the most, maybe in that right hip crease purely. Lean into your right palm for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and lower the back knee if it's lifted. Come onto your, walk your hands up onto your left knee. Loop your shoulders back. We'll do that hip check. So shift your hips back for a second. Lengthen your tailbone down, lift those hip bones up. That way we don't compress the left hip crease as we deepen our lunge. And then steady the legs, strong inner thighs, arms overhead. Exhale. Good. Now the right arm gets a tricep stretch. Take your right hand to your upper back. Hold on to that right elbow with your left hand. Try to weave your elbow behind your head, gently pushing your head into your arm. And then adding that side body stretch, lean to your left. Awesome. Now, if you'd like to lift that back knee off the mat, just make sure you're breathing okay. Spread out all of your right toes, push them into the floor, hover that right knee, and from there to the elbow, breathe for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Exhale, release the back knee, unwind the spine, arms to the sky, breathe in. And then exhale, let the hands touch down, shift your hips back, coming into your half splits. All right, flexing your ankle. Do what you did on the other side, pressing forward with the ball mound. Checking in with the neck and shoulders. That feeling like you can pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades, retract your rhomboids. Even if that means your chest can't go as low as you'd like. So if you have blocks, that could be nice. And on every breath out, that's your opportunity to fold a little deeper in. Check in with your jaw. Maybe sway it side to side, that bottom piece. And begin to explore that external rotation of your left thigh, turning your left toes open to the left. Trying to get your pinky toe towards the mat. Anchor your foot, pull your left hip crease back. Breathing into the outside of your left thigh. Perhaps your right cheek meets your left shin. Take one more good breath here. Now we'll keep those left toes turned open. Walk your hands to the inside of your left leg, and then begin to walk your hands forward. Bend your left knee simultaneously, coming into runner's lunge or lizard pose. You can be on your fingertips, loop your shoulders back, or you can come onto your elbows. It feels good to sway the hips side to side. Do what feels nice. Good. Here's where we'll add that quad stretch. So shifting the weight into your right hand or your right elbow. Begin to lift your left arm, reach it back. Fold your right knee, catch it with your grasp, and then gently kick your foot back, open up through your heart. Keep your heart open, pull your heel in towards your outer seat. Close your eyes, breathe. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Take your breath there. Notice if you're engaging anything you could let go of. Awesome. Go ahead and release your foot, hands to the mat. We'll find that 3-legged dog. Launch your left leg to the sky, nice and high. Open up your hips. Make one of those knee circles. Awesome. Then both feet on the floor for downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And then take it to child's pose with your knees nice and wide. Touch the ground. Bring your big toes to touch. Send your hips to your heels. Relax your forehead to the ground. And if you are dealing with tightness in your neck and shoulders, you can let your forearms line the edges of your mat so you get a little more space in your shoulders. Just take a few breaths to recall that intention you had set. check in with your body and how it feels at this point. Awesome. Now take it slow. When you're ready to rise, just come up to sit on your heels and bring your knees together again. We're going to add some stretch for the feet. So shift your weight forward for a moment so you can tuck your toes under and then try to sit up high on the heels. Now you can untuck your toes at any time, but we're going to stretch our feet as we stretch the neck and shoulders. So with your arms by your sides, take a few shoulder shrugs. Very nice. Good, and then keep your shoulders drawn back. Reach your right arm across your lower back. Catch your left bicep, your left arm, so it looks like this. And then bending your left elbow, so your palm is facing forward like you're serving a platter. Begin to reach forward with your left fingertips so that right shoulder blade comes back and down. And from here, left ear is going to come down towards the left shoulder, and you're going to breathe into that right side of your neck. You can draw your chin down and up on the diagonal, or maybe forward and back. Find that sweet spot and breathe into it. Good. Then go slow as you bring your head back up onto your spine. Release your arms. Take a few of those shoulder shrugs. We'll work our way to the other side. Now you can untuck your toes if you want. When you're ready, we'll take that left arm across the low back, grab for that right bicep, and the right palm faces forward, reaches forward, facing up. And then as you reach the fingertips forward, that left shoulder will draw back and down. Right ear comes towards the right shoulder from there. And just add that sway with the chin, getting into that sticky spot, or maybe it feels crunchy. Stretching the feet helps release this giant piece of fascia, this tissue that connects from the feet all the way up the back of your legs, the back of your spine, wraps around the skull of your head, and then inserts into the eye sockets. So hopefully that helps release the neck. Go ahead and release your head, shake off your shoulders, your arms. Nice. And then we'll release the feet. Go ahead and take your weight onto your hands, untuck your toes, tap the feet on the floor, tops of the feet. And we're gonna do a little more for the calves. So keep your right shin on your mat and then take your left shin to the right calf and start to massage your right calf with the left shin bone. So you can draw little circles with your left shin, working your way from the back of your right knee gradually down towards the back of your right ankle. Or for a little more intensity, clip the flesh that's on the inner calf and move it towards the outer calf and then start to sit back. So you begin to press a little more weight into that knot that you found, like you're squeezing out toothpaste from the tube. You work your way down the back of the calf to the ankle. And you could be resting on your hands or elbows, whatever's comfortable. Try not to add any more tension to your head and shoulders. Notice when your jaw begins to clench, just choose to exhale instead. If you find a place that needs a little more attention, just wait there, breathe there. When you're ready to work your way to the other side, we'll just take that left shin to the earth, and then the right shin's like a violin playing on the back of the left calf. You can start with those little circles just to kind of break up the tissue, break up the fascia, work your way down. And then to add the more intense variation, clip the flesh, sit back on it, find those knots, pick them out. Nice. Whew. Stay with it. Work your way down the calf. Remember when the jaw clenches, just breathe out. That'll help. I'll give it 3 more deep breaths. Mm, awesome. Okay, come back to hands and knees when you're ready. All right, and then we'll just shift forward onto your belly. So come all the way down to the ground, lower down. Awesome. More love for the shoulder. Stretch your right hand straight out to the right. So your right hand is lined up with your right armpit. And take your right ear, kick your left heel towards your seat, and then start to roll over onto your right hip. So you can stretch your right chest, the pec muscle of the right arm. Now the left toes can tap the ground behind you for more support. If you're pretty flexible in the shoulders, you can even interlace your hands together and keep rolling over. But to invite more strength into your pose, think about pushing down into the ground with your right fingertips. Add a little elbow bend, and then hug that right shoulder back and down. Breathing into the front of your right chest. Three more breaths. Awesome. Come onto your stomach and then switch it up. Left hand straight out to the left. Right hand comes in underneath your chest. Keep your left ear on the ground as you roll over onto your left hip, your left arm. The right toes can touch the ground. Try to keep your hand in line with your shoulder, even if you're doing that interlaced variation. Then find that same engagement. Press it down with your left fingertips, micro bend your left elbow, and as if you can shrug your left shoulder head off the ground. It won't actually move, but that feeling like your shoulder blade is drawing down your back. Lean back a little or a lot. One more breath. Awesome. Now come back onto your stomach and then take your left arm underneath your chest and reach it all the way over towards the right edge of your mat. So you have your straight left arm going from the left shoulder head over to the right side of your mat. This should look like this on the ground. Similar stretch like when you do this, figure 4, right? So you're gonna keep your left arm underneath your chest and you could bring your right hand underneath your forehead like a fist. And then we should feel the stretch in that left shoulder, the deltoid. Now close your eyes, feel all of your left fingernails pushing into the floor. And as if you wanted to move the floor to the left with your left arm. This gentle feeling like the shoulder blade wants to make its way back into its socket. And then meanwhile, that right fist or hand that's on the ground beneath your forehead is going to try to move the floor to the right. So you're spreading the ground apart. Now to prevent yourself from rolling onto one side or the other, you can hike up your left knee like you're doing tree. Just a little variation if you wish. Stay active through your arms. Breathe into the left shoulder, into the upper back. Now, if your left knee is hiked up like tree, go ahead and lengthen it. And then everyone's going to hike up the right knee like you're doing tree, facing the ground. Keep your left arm extended the way it is, but make it a twist by rolling your back onto the floor. And then you could start to reach your right arm away from you as your left hand catches your right knee. So find a twist, make it easy, breathe into it. And And take it slow. As you come back onto your stomach, we'll stretch the other shoulder. This time the right arm comes underneath your chest. Your left hand is a fist beneath your forehead. Now, if you're not quite feeling anything, you could inchworm your chest up and over your arm a little bit more. And then we'll do that same engagement, pressing down with all 5 of your right fingernails like you can move the floor to the right. The left hand grips the ground and moves it to the left. And then maybe that right knee opens up, that same one we just did for the twist. That'll just keep you from rolling over onto your right shoulder, which will minimize the stretch. Awesome. Now we'll set up for the twist. So if your right knee's hiked up, stretch it long, and then hike up your left knee, everybody. Roll onto your back. Keep your right arm the way it is, but start to reach your left arm open for the other end of the room. And then you can catch your left thigh with your right hand. Just hold it in place as you twist your spine. Look to the left. Breathe for 5. From here, continue to roll all the way onto your back. So flip onto your backside, reorganize yourself, wiggle onto your mat. And similar to how we started, have your feet wide, your knees touch. Take one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Close your eyes, pausing here. Recognize how the spine is doing, the shoulders, the neck. Check in with the quality of your breath. The content of your mind. Any shifts in the emotional body. Meeting yourself again. Now you're more than welcome to rest here if you're ready to slide into your Shavasana, or if there's any other posture your body is telling you it needs, now is the time to answer its request. I'll offer plow pose. If that sounds good to you, follow my lead. So elbows to the ground, fingers pointing towards the ceiling like you're a robot. Keep your elbows hugged into your ribs. And then start to curl your knees in towards your chest, and then backwards somersault style, lift your hips off the floor by digging your elbows into the ground. Now be careful not to look side to side. Look straight up between your thighs. Maybe your toes touch the floor above you, maybe not. But support your hands on your back the whole time. See if you can walk your hands farther up your back body towards the rib cage. And if your feet are on the ground above you, flex your ankles, tuck your toes under, and drive your heels towards the floor. Feel your shoulder blades gather together. Breathe into that space in the back of your neck. That space we've been focusing on between the shoulder blades. Just a few more breaths with straight legs. Lift your chin away from your chest best you can. Now allow your knees to soften. Bend your knees in towards your forehead, or maybe you can bring them towards your temples. Perhaps the hands walk farther up the back. You curl in and ask your neck, your shoulders to receive the stretch. Breathe into it. Good. And then we'll use the arms as leverage. Put your arms long on the mat and then go slow as you unravel your back. all the way to the ground, and then the legs can stay straight. Use your core as you slowly extend your legs forward and then to the floor. Now here we can rest in Shavasana. If you are feeling any tenderness in your lower back, you're welcome to return to that shape with the feet on the floor and the knees bent. Otherwise, keep your arms and legs stretched out long. Feel your head rooting into the ground, nice and heavy, and your hips too. And hover your shoulders for a sec. Roll your shoulders back and down. Palms facing up. Take a nice deep breath in. Smooth breath out. Relax your jaw, sway it side to side. Relax your tongue and the space around your eyes. Allow your muscles to relax and weigh down your bones. Let go. Notice if there are any muscles that have refused your request to release. Perhaps that mysterious space in the back of your neck. Imagine that space, letting go, melting flesh away from the bone. A lot of times, this tension happens simply because we forget. We forget to let go. We don't even know what our body is doing. And maybe there's something else you could let go of in your head or in your heart. Something that's been following you around, like a heavy weight, perhaps. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. I encourage you to continue to rest and sift through all the things that you can release and let go of at this time in your life. If and when you are ready to reawaken, imagine you're coming online intentionally, one breath at a time, one muscle at a time, one finger, one toe at a time. So you are in charge. The conscious mind is in charge of what muscles it chooses to engage and chooses to relax. Consciously, with all your awareness, eventually extend arms long overhead, reaching through this vessel with gratitude, curling to one side and resting your body and all the things it does for you, just pausing there for a moment. See if there's anything else you could let go of. With this next breath out, release it. With a little more lightness, press yourself up into a seat. Close your eyes. Take your time to draw your hands together in front of your heart. And give yourself a little blessing. I love myself. I trust myself. I am enough. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the divine light within you. Namaste. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. So fun. Thank you, everyone, on virtual yoga. Tune in next week. I'll be here. And I know it's New Year's Day and Christmas Day on Friday, so I'm going to try and continue this. So hopefully you can practice with me over the holidays. Thanks, everyone. Ciao. Aloha. Mwah.